It's a dog's life. You ready? Let's go. Job done, hey? Come on. Let's get in the warm. Zig. Come on, boy. Home is the hunter. Evening all. Happy Friday evening. Stephen here. Smoking my trusty Beerbeard with some frog mud and Sele Bayou. Bayou, I don't know. I'm from England. And drinking once again Green King Abbott Ale. And listening to, there can only be one voice like that. It is, of course, the incredible, the incomparable, there'll never be another one. Aretha Franklin, live at the Fillmore West. You know, I love all kinds of musicians. But I think I have to say, when it comes to the female voice, there are two that really stand out for me. Ella Fitzgerald is probably my #1 of all time. Absolutely incomparable. But in a different genre, Aretha Franklin. Absolutely amazing. And when she went to the Fillmore, it was a bit of a first for someone coming from her background. Because it was typically a rock venue and a hippie venue. And if you listen to the first side of this album, which I haven't played because it's deeply scratched and jumps and repeats on certain tracks, she does play kind of crossover stuff. Simon and Garfunkel, Stephen Stills, that kind of thing. But on this side she really went back to her roots, and the audience really reacted to it. Got to feel good. By the way, do let me know in the comments down below if I'm playing my music in the background too loud. I only mentioned because Ed, Grandpa Cavendish, mentioned the other day that he got slightly distracted by the music playing. And I can't, because it's right behind my ear, whereas the phone is right over there where you are. So I can't tell. It's loud to me, but when I play it back on the replay, it doesn't sound. So let me know if it's too loud, if it's not loud enough, and I'll fiddle around with it, so to speak. Now then. Behave yourselves. Now, you may have seen a little montage before this video started, or at the beginning of this video. If you did, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, well, there you go. You haven't seen it, so what am I talking about? I don't think I've said cheers yet. Cheers. Bottoms up. Long live the Queen. And all who sail in her. I mentioned in a video last weekend that my boiler had packed up. And sod's law, it coincided with the coldest weather we've had in this country for as long as I can remember. And such things, you know, being as they were, all the gas heating people, of course, were incredibly busy. So I ended up going 8 days without any heating other than my butane heater and an electric heater, and that was it. Yeah, I'm getting too old for this lark. I mean, when I was young, I lived in places with no heating. I lived in one flat in Notting Hill, I've mentioned it before, that I lived in West London back in the 70s. Had no, all I had was a paraffin heater. Probably called it kerosene in the States, I think, I don't know. And not only was it extremely cold and no heating, but it had, because it was an old Georgian house, it had a big, in our bedroom, a big bay window. And those things are notorious for leaking, because the top of the bay used to be like a balcony for the people upstairs. And I say, this was a slum flat. And I remember in the winter, the rain used to leak through this bay window in our bedroom, and you'd wake up in the morning and there were icicles on the ceiling in our bedroom. Fortunately, I was young then and in a relationship, so I had my love to keep me warm. Now I'm old and I don't. All I've got is Ziggy. And we don't have that kind of relationship, you know. You know, we might spoon a bit, but this is getting out of hand. I'll stop there. But anyway, I've had this new boiler put in yesterday, after 8 days, where the place had basically turned into a deep freeze. £2,300. But it's been, oh, I couldn't have stood another day. I really couldn't. As I said, too old for that kind of lark. And I've had that thing cranked up ever since. This house must be glowing. I reckon you could probably spot it from a satellite. I do love the way I laugh at my own jokes. Comes of living on your own. But it's actually unbelievable. They flushed all the radiators through, and compared to the 20-year-old boiler I had before, which struggled to raise the temperature in this place, this thing is incredible. The radiators are so hot I can't touch them. So this fire is very, very much cosmetic. I don't actually need it. It's so warm in here, I think I could film this in my underwear. But that is something that nobody wants to see. But just to keep the thing going, I've been upstairs. Some old bookshelves that were up in the loft conversion when I first moved in. And I took them down ages ago, and they've just been lying on the floor up there because we don't use that room. and now I'm burning them up. Makes me think of one of those old cartoons you used to see where they used to have steamboat races. Yes, boy, yes. And when the fuel was getting low, they'd start taking all the walls down until it ended up with just a frame going along with a chimney puffing out the smoke. That's what's happening with this house. Any road up. I hope you're all well. And I hope you're getting in the groove. And I think I knock it on the head because BBC 4 in this country on a Friday night plays some really good music stuff. So I'm going to go up and watch it. They're doing one about like electronic and trance music tonight. Give it a go. I mentioned the one last week about the Old Grey Whistle Test was a big disappointment, but there you go. Give this one a try. Thanks all for your comments on my last one. About my life on the riverboard, chugging up and down the river. I have got another story, but I'm saving that for tomorrow. No spoilers, just a little teaser. Just to whet your appetite. And at that point, I think it's time for me to go. As the incredible Mr. T would say,
don't make me mad.
Or even,
First name Mr. Middle name period. Last name T. Don't give me no back talk, sucker.
I can go on and on. I bought this for my daughter. We had a Mr. T thing going on at one point.
Don't make me mad. I pity the fool. Quit your jibber jabber.
Yeah, I'll quit my jibber jabber. And I'll speak to you again tomorrow night. Ta-da everyone. Take care.